Hey y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media Channel. Welcome back to another video, guys. This time we are talking August TBR. I feel like these TBR lists that I have keep getting bigger and bigger. There's not as many books. I feel like the books just are denser than before, in months past. But without any more interruption, let's get into it. So I have 7 books here that I have on my TBR for the month of August. I'm not going to lie, though, guys. I don't think I will get through all 7 of these by any means. They're, like I said, they're quite a bit denser than months past. I'm setting my goal, though, 5 books. If I can get through 5 of these books, I will be happy. I have 7, so if I want to call an audible, and I kind of feel like reading this, not necessarily this book. I have a little bit of a selection, so I could try to stick to my TBR. I think if I do it this way, I will definitely stick to my TBR and not kind of branch out, hopefully. But let's get into it, guys. And I'm going to go through the ones that, y'all probably would expect me to, read or have on my TBR. If you've watched the channel, for a week or two, or, for general length of time, you probably would expect to see a couple of these authors on this list. But let's get into it, guys. Me and Kevin Toll are going to do a fellowship read. Yes, I'm going to coin that term, and I'm stealing it from Hide and Read. Sorry, man, I'm stealing it from you. I know he won't have a problem with that, though. But like I said, we're going to do a fellowship read of Louis L'Amour's Flint. Kind of giving you a little bit of a background on this book. Reading the blurb on the back briefly, it sounds like it's about a gentleman he finds out he has cancer. He goes to New Mexico, I believe, and happens to get there as a range war starts and whatnot. Kind of get a little bit of a sense of The Shootist with John Wayne. I haven't seen that movie, but I know the premise, an old gunslinger who gets cancer and all this. I know it was a book. That's kind of what the sense I got from reading the back. This kind of sounds a little bit like that, but we'll see. I'm looking forward very much to reading this. This is one of his more well-known books, I feel like. My lunch break today, I was going on YouTube and Google and just looking up Louis L'Amour book reviews, and I feel like Flint, Hondo, The Lonesome Gods, and The Haunted Mesa, those are like the top 4 that I feel like pop up the most for him. So looking forward to reading this. Expect this out, I believe, the 3rd week of this month, or of August, is when this is going to be up. So expect that and look forward to that. I always look forward to reviewing Louis L'Amour books, especially if I'm going to do a fellowship read with somebody. I know I enjoyed doing mine with Faceless, so I know I'm going to enjoy doing it with Kevin. Kevin seems like a really down-to-earth dude and whatnot, even though Faceless seems to want to bust his chops all the time. But you know what? Let's get into this next book. This next one is one that it's been on my radar for a long time. I haven't read it yet, but if you've watched any of my Louis L'Amour books, reviews, the last few of them, and yes, it is a Louis L'Amour book that I'm going to be talking about, I've talked about how I wanted to read a pirate book by him. After reading The Shadow Riders and having pirates show up, I couldn't get that out of my mind, and then, talking with Hide and Read about how, he didn't expect pirates and whatnot. I've really been wanting to read a pirate book, and this, I think, is the closest I'm probably going to get for a Louis L'Amour pirate book, and that is Fair Blows the Wind. This, from what I understand, is about like a Hispanic conquistador who, no. Okay, so it sounds, sorry, we're double checking this. So it's actually about a gentleman that goes from England over to here to the States and whatnot, and gets stranded or something. I think I don't know. I just know on the back it says Indians, pirates, and rogue swordsmen. That sounds freaking awesome. So I am definitely looking forward to reading this. It is a little bit of a thicker one. I would think this is going to be up here thickness wise and page count like The Lonesome Gods. So we'll see. I did enjoy The Lonesome Gods as much as I would have hoped. So hopefully Fair Blows the Wind picks that up. But again, guys, got some definitely, thicker Louis L'Amour books this month. And then I'm going to continue reading my Walt Longmire series, book 13, The Western Star. Walt there. I don't know, that image kind of worries me of what may or may not come. I haven't finished the 12th book yet. I have like 130 something pages left, so I'm a little worried. But I know as soon as I finish, An Obvious Doubt, an obvious fact. Whatever it is, I can't think of the title right now. I'm going to want to pick up the next one. Probably have no doubt. I haven't even read the back of this. I'm trying not to look at it so I don't accidentally, read something I shouldn't. Next, is a book that it's been on my radar, another one that's been on my radar, and I've talked about it briefly on this channel a little bit about how, I want to try to read this and get into this series or trilogy. And there's somebody, and I forget who it was. Sorry guys, I'm gonna pull the phone out here. I know this is a YouTube no, but you know what? It's come on guys, bear with me. Let me see here. What is the name? It is the GCBC 4510. In the comments, and once you know that I said your username, you're probably gonna know what book I'm talking about. They made the comment they couldn't wait to see and hear, my thoughts in a video on this book. So I figured, let's try to fit it in the month of August. I'm going on a couple minor road trips here this month, so I hopefully have a little bit more reading time because of that. This is one that I generally didn't think I would ever really enjoy this type of genre, but you know what? I'm going to give it a shot and see. And I am talking about The Bourne Identity by Mr. Robert Ludlum. This is a popular franchise, if you will. It's like a spy espionage type of book. So I'm looking forward to trying to see if I enjoy this. I feel like this is probably going to be up there, genre-wise. I would guess probably in like the Scott Harvath, what is that one? I know I'm gonna do another no here. I'm pull my phone out and just double check what it's called. And I'm sorry guys, I know y'all don't come here to see me do this, but the Mitch Rapp, which is by Vince Flynn, which is I think like an espionage. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, guys. But I'm looking forward to this. I know my wife. I've seen this movie like once or twice. I know my wife really enjoys these movies. So I'm looking forward to reading this and trying to get some action hopefully out of this. From the back it looks like it. For those of you who don't know what this book is about, this is about a spy who wakes up with no memory and whatnot. I know that Kevin had a video come out today or yesterday where he talks about picking this up and he references me. So this is me referencing Kevin, referencing me in his video. I don't know how many fourth walls I just broke there, but you know what, I'm going with it. But again guys, The Bourne Identity, looking forward to getting that and hopefully giving a subscriber and a viewer something that they want to see. This other one, this last weekend, me and my wife ended up going to the DFW area, and I'm just going to say this, anybody who says it's not about the destination, it's about the travel or whatever, however that term is, or the journey, it's not about the destination, it's the journey, has obviously never driven from West Texas to freaking DFW and back in a 2-day time span, because if that was the case, they never would have said anything like that. But I digress. But anyways, we were there. I was talking with my wife's grandmother, and we were talking about books and whatnot, and she was talking to me about an author that she really likes and whatnot, and I was like, I've read a couple books by him, and I picked up one, didn't really enjoy it, and I never really got back into him. I have quite a few of his books though, and she said, give him another try. So I figured, what, let's throw one of his books on the list for the month and see if we can manage to get it fit in. And I am talking about John Grisham's The Partner. Quite a few years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I picked up A Time to Kill. I really enjoyed that. I blew through that book. Then I picked up The Firm. Really enjoyed The Firm. I really, really did. Then I picked up Pelican Brief. Didn't enjoy that one as much. I think I got like halfway through. I DNF'd it. I haven't even thought about going back to it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it, but then I remember kind of what it was like reading it, and anyways, I digress. So I have like 10 of his books, and I was kind of reading through the few that I have up here on my bookshelf back there, and I'm going to do a bookshelf tour one of these days, I promise, guys. But this one sounded interesting. This sounded like reading the blurb here, it's about a gentleman who has like a law firm. He ends up embezzling millions. He flees out of the country down to like Brazil or something, and then he comes back. And I'm not sure if it's because he's on trial or if he's representing somebody or how that's working. But this sounds very, very interesting to me. I enjoyed John Grisham. The couple books that I've read, like I said, Pelican Brief was could give or take, but I understand that's one that not a whole lot of people like from what I've heard. But again, John Grisham, I want to try and get into more of his books. I heard that there is a sequel to The Firm. If you've read it, let me know if it's worth picking up or not. Alrighty, now we're getting down to the final two. We're going to be getting into August. It's August right now when you're probably watching this video, or a couple of days before. August for me, I don't do decorating or anything like that, guys. But the 1st of August, my wife lets me put up my Halloween stuff. Halloween is awesome. It's my favorite holiday. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best holiday out there. Well, I finished reading I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. That scratched the itch that I had for, reading a horror book and whatnot. Kind of holding me over till, October came. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I need to get into it. Hyde and Reed did a video, talk about books he would recommend to read during, October, leading up to and whatnot. But in his video, he talked about why do it in just that month or just that day. Like, spread it out. If you enjoy something or a holiday, spread it out. And that got me thinking, you know what? He's right. Why the hell not? So I ordered this book used. I had fingers crossed and that it would come in before the 1st of August, and it did. And it's one I've read before, but I absolutely loved it. And it's one that I've been wanting to review on the channel, and that is Stephen Graham Jones' My Heart is a Chainsaw. This book, I'm not going to try to review it in this video. I'm just telling y'all. And to tell you something, I don't really do hardcover books, guys. If I order a hardcover book, it's because it's a series or a book or an author that I really, really like. I love this book. This book references a lot of horror movies, so I'm hoping, it's the first book in a trilogy. So the plan is to read this book in August, Don't Fear the Reaper in September, and The Angel of Indian Lake in October. Finish up the trilogy and then review it. But again, guys, gonna pick this up. I already had this on my Kindle, but I had to get this in physical format. And now that I've done like a mini review / book haul in my TBR for the month of August, let's keep going. But just kind of tell y'all what this is. This book's about. This is about a young girl named Jay Daniel. She is, she's Indian. She lives in Proof Rock, Idaho. And Jade is not popular by any standards, by any means. She is not popular. She's essentially the least popular girl in, Proof Rock, Idaho. In her opinion, the entire state. So to cope with not having any friends or family, really, she relates to her slashers. I'm talking your Freddys, your Jasons, your Michaels, your Leatherfaces, your Cropsies, your Jaws, just everything. There's movies that are referenced in here that I haven't even watched, and that should tell you something. But essentially, that's how she's coped for many years. And so she's always dreamed about being in like a horror movie. What she would do, well, she starts to notice things happening in Proof Rock, Idaho that kind of makes her think and get the wheels turned, thinking that she's in a horror movie. And the big question in this book is she the final girl, or is there somebody else who is the final girl? Again, guys, I cannot wait to dive into this. I am so excited. I will probably be picking this up on August 1st and starting that reread. I absolutely love that book. Now we're going to get into the big book for the month of August. If you watched my weekly updates, you already know what book I'm going to talk about by process of elimination. But if you haven't, I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of spiel and whatnot and try to advocate. But if you don't know, Brian Lee Durfee, he's a fellow YouTuber, does, booktube, whatnot. He's also an author. I'm tongue-tied here, guys. He, unfortunately, for like the last 4 or 5 months, has been in the hospital. I don't know Brian personally. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm not sure if that counts or not for knowing him, for saying I'm friends with him personally. I've talked with him like a couple times on Instagram, just, ask him a couple questions about his books and whatnot. But like I said, he's been in the hospital, and I've had his books on my Kindle for 6 months or so, maybe 7. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna pick these up. They're chunkers. They are chunkers. They're like, I think when I looked, they're like 800-900 page books. So they are long, big, dense books. Imagine like Words of Radiance, Stormlight Archive books, like Way of Kings thick. So I, was debating on picking this up or waiting till next year and whatnot. Well, then I saw the other day Brian posted something to Facebook and Instagram talking about, how his recovery is very slow and he's still in the hospital and he's trying not to go insane and whatnot. Understandable, being stuck in a hospital, eating hospital food. Nothing against anybody that works in a hospital or whatnot, but I can't imagine it's fun by any means. So I got to thinking and I thought, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get into it, and I'm hoping that if enough of us will do this and just talk about his books, maybe get his books on like the New York Times bestseller or something, just try to get this out there. I don't want Brian thinking any of us have forgotten about him. He's very missed. I know, the comments when I did my weekly updates, the guys, Faceless, Hide and Read, Kevin, Dustin, everybody was talking about how they, we all miss his videos and whatnot. So, and I'm not trying to make it sound like he's passed or anything like that by any means, I promise. But I want to, get his books back out there and whatnot. So I have bought the physical paperback editions of his books. I am waiting on they're supposedly supposed to be here the 1st of August on Thursday. That's yet to be seen. There's some issues with shipping right now, I believe, but thankfully I have them on my Kindle, hence why I have my Kindle here. If the books aren't here by August 1st, I will find a way and get them a different way in physical format, but I will start on August 1st. I will pick up his books and start on my Kindle. But that is the big, one. I want to try to read that this month, the second book in September, and the third book in October. Just try to finish that trilogy. Brian seems like a very nice guy, so again, I'm not trying to make it seem like he's passed on or anything like that. I don't want anybody taking what I'm saying out of context. We all hope Brian gets better and whatnot, and we know he's gonna beat whatever he's got going on, and we can't wait for him to come back. But again, I hope that nobody's forgetting about him, and I want to bring light to his trilogy again. If somehow Brian does see this video, Brian, I would love to interview you and talk about your books once I finish them. Get well, man. We can't wait to see you again. But again, guys, that is the big TBR for the month of August. I have, like I said, a couple audible choices in there if I want to change them and whatnot. But I can't wait, to start this month and read these books. But as always, guys, I do appreciate it. Gonna do the thumbnail real quick. Get these up there. But again, guys, do appreciate it. Thank y'all for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comments, what are y'all reading? What are you planning on reading in the month of August? If anybody wants to join me and fellowship read along with me on some of these books, let me know. Be more than happy to do that with you guys. But as always, again, I appreciate every single one of you. Y'all have a good one.